want my children to know that my husband and I work hard for the gifts that we have given them, and that it doesn't have anything to do with Santa Claus. My son informed me that when we saw Santa Claus in the mall, that he gave him his list. He wants a Nintendo DS, he wants G.I. Joe action figures, monster trucks, a bicycle. The list goes on and on. I want my children to realize that they really don't need all those gifts. Dr. Phil, how do I tell my children that there is no Santa Claus without ruining their Christmas?
Okay, what's the big driver here? You took a trip, right? A missionary trip, and it was a contrast for what you saw there plus what you have at home.
I learned a lot. I guess the main thing is my children and just in general as an American, we can do without a lot of things. There are a lot of things that we think that we need that we really don't.
You're giving me kind of two messages. You're saying, you know, like, I don't want children that are unappreciative and don't get it.
Right.
But then you're also saying, I want to be sure that they understand we're the ones giving it to them and not Santa Claus. So is it both or which, or am I confused?
Well, I guess the main thing is I don't feel comfortable lying to my children, and I want them to know that, you know, the gifts weren't free. You know, somebody had to work for them, and I guess lying is the main issue for me.
But is there anything negative when a child doesn't have conceptual abilities to have a figure, a concrete figure that represents love and caring and giving?
I
mean, is that offensive to your sensibilities?
No, not
because you're
at
saying,
all.
well, we're teaching them a lie.
No, I've never actually told them, to be honest with you, that there was, but I've never told them that there wasn't. And recently my son just asked me if there was.
What did he ask you exactly?
He said, well, Mommy, a little boy at school told me, you know, my friend said that Santa Claus isn't real. And he sounded devastated, and I didn't know how to handle that.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you how I want you to handle that, and I want to hear what Peggy has to say. Let's get the audience to weigh in on this. What's the right age to tell the kids the truth about Santa? Now, grab your Paget gadget. Let's see the results. All right, 47% on their own. So, Peggy, what do you think about that?
I'm not at all surprised. And it is such a magical statement, Santa is. And I think it's great to let a child believe in Santa until that turning point, until someone at school or older sibling or somebody asks them. That's when you go into the not lying part.
And you've gotten a clue here. And see, and I think, generally speaking, what we need to do is watch our kids for clues. Because they'll start saying, I know for us, I remember we got Jay a stereo, and it was in a little cabinet with 4 wheels, and I rolled it out of our closet, and it left tracks. And when we rolled it into his room, he looked at those tracks, and he looked at those tracks, and there weren't any from the fireplace. And so, you know, he was kind of looking at us, and
I had been telling him for 2 weeks, don't look in Daddy's closet.
yeah. Well, you didn't tell me that.
Then you rolled it out there, and I put a big sign from Santa on there.
And Jay's 30 now, and this was what, last Christmas or the Christmas?
2 years ago.
No. When a child has enough reasoning ability to challenge a belief, certainly do not lie to them. At that point, say, well, let me sound and tell you, Mom and Dad are really Santa Claus, and we love being Santa Claus. And if you have younger children, let them kind of help and do some of the things, so now they feel like they're part of it. And so I guess a cynic will say, oh yeah, draw them into your conspiracy of the red man. You know, I mean, do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.